Hi,
Hi, hi.
hello
Welcome to Immersion.
everyone.
Hello, hello,
7 o'clock on
hello.
a Sunday. I just glanced out my window. My neighbor's house was on fire earlier today.
Oh my gosh.
I
Right
mean,
next
really,
door?
really on fire. There,
Wow.
there were fire trucks and police and ambulance, and all the neighbors were out looking and talking. And
Oh my gosh, I hope nobody was hurt.
well, everybody was out of the house. The dogs were out. All the neighbors were like, "Are the dogs out? Are the dogs out?" Everybody's looking for the dogs.
Oh.
Yeah, but there was a guy there. I'd never seen him before, so I don't know if who he is. um, but his face was all black, like sooty,
Uh-huh.
and his hands, like the knuckles, were all like scraped off and
Oh.
bloody. So they wanted to take care of that.
Sure,
He didn't,
yeah.
he didn't want them to, but they kind of insisted.
Yeah. Wow.
So, but there was all kinds of smoke coming out, and you could see it like going through the roof, even though you didn't see any flames.
Uh-huh.
But you could see smoke going through the roof, and but I'm looking, and the house is still there, and
Wow,
you know,
good. Could you
so
feel the heat?
no, I didn't get that close.
No, okay.
I didn't want to. I mean, because the fumes, it was noxious.
Yeah.
Anything plastic or synthetic burning is just really, it's not good for you for one, and
No.
you know, it doesn't smell good.
There's nothing like the smell of a fire though in the fire pit.
Yeah, when it's wood and
Right.
paper and
Right. I actually like the smell of burning leaves. I know not everybody
oh yeah,
does, and
I do too.
I
I
love
do.
that smell. I
Yeah,
do.
yeah. We won't have that for a while though, will we?
No.
So.
I'm kind of glad about that too.
Hi, Cindy. Hi, Karen. Hi, Laura. Hi, Nick. I love that you all are saying hello. That's awesome. So tonight's subject is careers in the afterlife. And Nick asked, I think it was Nick,
Yep. Yes, it was.
did we mean in the physical or non-physical, in a physical or non-physical life? And we'll see where it goes. Because people live forever and we have multiple experiences, lives, whatever you want to call it. I like to call them weekends away. That little thing that you go, I think I need to, I think I need to go to that planet where they have such and such going on and learn this or that lesson.
And so I'm gonna go for the weekend. I'll see you soon.
Oh, yeah, I'll be back. So, like for those of us in the second half of our lives, I
Whew.
say, okay, so I'm on Sunday already. I made it through Saturday, and it's Sunday. I just got to get through the rest of Sunday, and I can go back home.
There you go. There you go.
And then sometimes when I'm working with a young person, I'm like, oh, you poor thing, you're only on Saturday morning.
Hi, Max.
Okay, hi. All right. So once again, Lisa is not with us. She's at a writers
Workshop.
convention
Workshop. Yeah. I'd
workshop.
call it a workshop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's at a writers workshop.
It sounds so professional.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe she'll have something to share with us when she comes back.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Yeah,
But she says hi and sends love to everybody.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'll wave to her. Hey, Lisa. In case she watches us. I know she does sometimes come and watch the videos. I don't
Hmm.
know how often or whatever, but so we're thinking of her. So, those of you that are observant will notice that we're back to having the camera facing my bookshelf instead of out my window. I finally transitioned completely off of the old computer onto the new one. Oh, I forgot to change my sound. Hold on a second. I know I'm much clearer with this microphone than the other one. It's on.
Okay.
All right. Do I sound better?
You sound good to me. You always did, though.
Well, maybe it only just shows up on YouTube, but it does make a difference in the clarity. And, I don't enunciate very well. I've always got a frog in my throat. I say and so all the time. So, see, I just did it again. So anything to help the quality of the sound of my voice is a good thing. Okay, it got chilly again here, didn't it?
It really did, yeah.
Yeah. So, which is fine. It just gets confusing this time of year, and then again, September, October. I can never figure out what to wear.
That's why you have to wear layers.
Yeah, I wear layers, but then, you haul out your summer clothes and you start digging through that, and maybe you wear that a day or two. And then you have to go, oh, no, no, it's cold again. I got to go back to the other pile of clothes that I was trying to put away. Put those on. Where's those winter pajamas? I'm freezing. Oh, one of the problems of having a physical body.
Yes. A minor one, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's actually kind of fun every time because you forget like what summer clothes you had.
Yeah.
Go, oh yeah, I love this top. Oh, I'm so happy to wear this again. Oh, why did I save that one? That one goes to the Goodwill. Okay. All right. So, I've got to stop doing that. We will be doing our healing portion segment in a moment. It will be channeled healing energy. It comes from, wherever does it come from? It comes from the universe.
Source.
It comes from source. Yes. It comes from, it gets gathered and concentrated and kind of sent out to everybody. And you get to receive it. You get to feel it and experience it in your own unique way. Perhaps physically, perhaps emotionally, perhaps not at all, that you're conscious of. But being aware and allowing it to flow through you to where it needs to go is all you need to do. We want you to be comfortable. We want you to be safe. So lie down if you want to. Sit up. Be sitting. Have your spine straight so that there's a nice flow going through your body. Relax all your muscles and your joints. That includes your jaw and your shoulders. Those are two areas that people are always holding tight, and I'm doing that right now. Let's relax the shoulder. Come on, everybody, just do the shoulder wiggle. What else?
Keep your eyes closed so that it's an internal experience, because when you have your eyes open, and you could have your eyes open, but you'll feel everything a little bit more if you have them closed, because you won't be looking at the mess on the table or the squirrel in the backyard or the TV or whatever is in your space right now. So, close your eyes and be internal with it.
Yeah.
And just allow. Just whatever is going to be will be. Some people feel things intensely. Some people don't feel anything. Some people have been having visions, which is always very, very cool. So don't put any limitations or expectations on what your experience is going to be. Just let it be what it is.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
And invite your loved ones in.
Yeah.
They can physically be with you in the room,
but
they don't have to be.
And it could be the loved ones that live with you or the loved ones that have gone on to the other side.
Mm-hmm. Maybe loved ones that you never even met.
That's true, too.
Grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
Could be anybody. I found out recently, I don't know why I didn't know this or I forgot this or whatever, but my mother's uncle died really awfully. He was working on a canal. They were building a canal, and he was on the boat, and somehow he fell off the boat and got tangled in the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
And he struggled and struggled and struggled for a long time, but ultimately didn't get out of the ropes. And so I never met him, but I'll invite him in. Although I'm sure his sister, my grandmother, has long since got them over here. But that's just an example, somebody that you didn't meet, but that's part of your family, or
Hmm.
even somebody that somebody from history. Maybe you think Napoleon's cool, and he could use some help. I don't know,
Why
whatever.
not?
Yeah, your pets,
Oh, yeah.
you know. Anyway,
Because the pets really do enjoy this.
they do.
Hmm.
They do. Lisa's one always barks. He always comes in and plays with her. Then he barks like at the end or something.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So, hello, Gail. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I will go. Well, I won't be going off screen because you'll probably see me unless I. Where do I go? I don't know where I can go that I can hide. Oh no, I can go over there. That's what I used to do. I go over there. The screen share on Google Hangout is not working. Um, I have searched all over the place for a workaround, and all the answers tell me to do what I've already done, so it just doesn't work. So if you know Google, call them and whip them into shape for us. So I will have to just leave the screen as it is. I'll go off screen, I'll say my prayer, and then the energy will start flowing. So you just receive. Okay, we'll see you
All
when I
right.
come back. right. Come on back. Wendy, start talking. I gotta go turn off.
Okay, well, that was again like another really big hug from Source. I just so love that, the loving feelings that we get, and would love to have anybody chat or put a comment in the chat as to what your experience was. Also, something that we forgot to mention is that you and I are the only ones that anybody can see on camera, and but that we truly heartfully welcome all your comments and questions over in the chat.
Yeah. So, all right. While you're typing, I guess we can start. Do we have any questions on this topic at all?
There wasn't any, but I had one come up right before we went on the air, so we can start with that if that's okay. I was wondering, you know, somebody was making a comment on Facebook about the afterlife, about it being tiring. And you said that, you know, you told me what my career was, but that I wasn't tired. But then I got to thinking, that's what I do when I astral travel. So is what you do when you're astrally traveling the same thing as your career in the afterlife?
No. Can be. So when you're doing your astral travel, they're showing you, so this is pertaining particular to you, Wendy. They're showing, so say if you're flying like Superman or something, but that you're kind of in a harness and they're holding the harness and you're doing what you're doing. You're doing your seed laying, planting thing. But when you are not bound by physical, that you stand straight and you're much more in charge, much more so the reason that you do that when you don't always do it when you astral travel, when you travel, do you?
Say that again.
Do you? It doesn't really matter. I just asked, do you always do that? Is that all you do when you travel? Because there's so many other things to see. But whatever. They're saying that it's because that is your. It's such a big part of you that your eternal self is, you almost like you have to do it, you gotta get some of that out, because it builds up, and it almost feels like you're checking on stuff that you've already planted.
Cool. Well, that would be good, right?
Yeah. Do you notice that? Pay attention next time to what seeds you're planting and what that you may have already.
I'm not conscious of what I'm doing. I just have psychic people say, "Oh, you travel a lot." And there was only one experience I had where I knew that I was doing it. It was very, very lovely. But it's more just awaking in the morning and being really tired. Anyway,
okay.
we can talk about me some other time if you want, but we have a lot of comments growing over here, and I don't want to lose track of them, okay?
Okay.
So anyway, Karen said that her face was itching and yawning, and she felt loved. And then Cindy said, my face itched too by my nose. I felt very comforted. I had a little zapping feeling on the right side of her tongue. The little drill feeling was back at the corner of her right eye, then a lot of warmth on the right side of her face. The rest of her was cold. Nick said his ears were ringing a lot, which sounds unpleasant, but he really doesn't mind it. And Cindy had ear ringing too. Uh-oh, and Laura has lost the sound in the screen. Uh-oh.
Technology,
I
we love it, don't we?
know. All right, but does anybody have any questions about the careers in the afterlife? I mean, there's so many things to know. Like, how about this? Do the careers that we take in our earthly life in any way complement what we do? I mean, obviously, it wouldn't make sense to come down to Earth or any other planet to do what we're already good at, but are they meant to complement that which we do?
Optimally, they would. Optimally, they would. We don't always, sometimes we just fall into whatever job. And so we come here like, uh, is Kathy S. on here?
Yeah, I believe she
If
is.
she is, ask her, Kathy, is it okay if I share a little bit about your example? Because that would be an easy one for me to use. And if not, that's totally okay. Okay, so that sounds like a simple question, but it's actually a pretty complex question. So we come, so we're home, right? We're in our eternal home, which of course, presumably, yeah, you can move. So you're, not that you don't move, but you're living your life, and something comes along, and you think that you want to have some kind of lesson or whatever, or maybe somebody prompts you, maybe your guides are like, hey, you're getting a little slack on this, or you would really benefit from improving that or something. So you choose, okay, what's the best way to accomplish this? And you choose Earth, or you choose some other planet that you don't even know. You choose some realm, some world to go and have that experience in. So since we're familiar consciously with Earth, we'll talk about that. So we decided to come to Earth to learn whatever lesson. I keep glancing to see if Kathy responded, but I don't see it. So ultimately, and we could talk about this too, but ultimately we have a purpose for coming here, right? We have a purpose, some kind of personal. We have a personal purpose, what lesson we wanted to learn, and we have a public purpose. What our being here is going to do to forward this world and ultimately this universe. So, which generally they kind of dovetail, but if you come here and have this planet doesn't change in any way because you're here, then your public purpose was not accomplished. So the more we stand, this is going to go way off track. So it can. Okay, so yes. So the quick answer is it can complement and often will be somehow look similar to that, or at least it'll be in a way that will enhance what you're doing. But the trick is to be awake enough to get as deep of that as you can.
Okay.
Okay. So you're gonna, circumstances are gonna align themselves so that you are kind of doing what you should be. But we often get stubborn and we don't listen. So we can kind of interfere with that.
Right.
Hold on. And they're saying even if you don't pick the right quote career while you're here, sometimes it's something that you do in volunteer work, or the relationship that you have with your neighbors, or how you raise your interact with your grandchildren or something. It doesn't necessarily have to be your job that you get paid for, but your guides will keep trying to find ways to make sure that happens. Okay, so It's always a good thing. Oh, I just found a quote by Benjamin Franklin today. I loved it. Darn it, it fell out of my head. Hopefully I'll think of it. Um, but basically, you know, you want to you want to have a purpose for being here. You want to leave an imprint somehow, not only for your own good, but for the good of the whole universe.
Mm-hmm.
So, so not everyone that comes here at this time, so for example, maybe not everybody on this call, is in a place where they are grown up enough, and that doesn't. I don't mean to sound like you're immature or something, but we aren't. Again, going to that example of the coils, maybe you're not quite at that place of having that eternal that career job. We're always growing and developing. So some of us are kind of young souls. Some of us are older souls. We've all heard that saying, that expression. So sometimes it's about like almost like getting your feet wet and learning about things. You may or may not be aligning with your future career, which of course there is no future.
So how do we get our career jobs? How do we get that in the next world?
It is. So if you think of the example of angels,
okay,
they are created, that is their role to take on that task. There are beings, we are all individually and collectively, of course, growing and maturing and heading for the light. The light being a more positive, uplifting, universal experience. But the very vibration of a being, as you're created, it can be different. So there are beings that are way beyond our capacity to understand. And they were created that way, and that's just who they are. And I'm never going to be that. It's out of my thing. So if we look at it as we're all part of a tapestry that's interwoven. So if you are at, when you like on a map, you have A, B, C, D, E, across. That's a grid, and then 1, 2, 3. So if in that tapestry you are at D7, whatever D7 is to the whole, so that's a blue dot, with maybe a little bit of red tinge to it, then that's your vibration. That's your part of the puzzle. But again, as the whole thing expands and grows, your D7 spot grows with it and changes. And I know that sounds very vague, but we have nurse-like roles. We have doctor roles. I've mentioned, sometimes the surgical team will come in or something, and they're not cutting, and there's nothing bleeding, but how else do we explain it but as a surgeon? This topic is much deeper than I was expecting, and I almost feel like we got to narrow it down. Because I'm like, how am I going to say all of this stuff? That's just.
But what you're saying is enlightening, and I'm learning something, so I'm hoping everybody else is learning something.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Oh, good. Hopefully
Um,
we'll be specific.
what is the difference between the afterlife and reincarnation?
So again, you exist. I'll use that same model we used before. You exist eternally. And periodically, you come and have an experience in some planet, some world, some realm. Again, this goes on forever. So that is a life. You have eternal life, and then you have these weekends away. Sometimes you want to go to a spa for a weekend, and that'll be, not on Earth because this is not a vacation. But, maybe there's some planet that's all, masseuses and salt scrubs
Let's
and
go find that.
so you over your existence will periodically will have a weekend away. And we talked last time about they told us about adventure buddies. So, Wendy and I might decide, at somewhere along the path, be like, that was really cool what we did together on Earth that time, and I learned a lot. Let's go do that again somewhere else, But of course, the lesson is going to be a different lesson. But we can choose
I
to
hope
do
so.
it again.
No repeats.
Yeah, there's no reason to learn the same lesson over again. If then you can't learn a lesson again. You either learned it or you didn't. If you didn't learn it, then yeah, you got to go take the class again, but take the lesson again. But once the lesson is learned, it's learned.
Yeah.
What was the question again?
The question is, what is the difference between the afterlife and reincarnation?
Okay. Yeah. So, an incarnation is one of those experiences.
And the afterlife is all the rest of the time.
Yeah.
The eternal part, yeah.
Yeah. I guess.
So, is it possible to be separated from your life purpose?
Oh, yeah. And again, we see that with people running. Okay, hold on. Because this is kind of a double layer thing here. There are times you get to the pearly gates, or whatever you want to call it, and you're standing there, and who is it, Peter? I'm just using this analogy. It's not a literal thing, but where you are like, oh yeah, darn it, I went down there to do this, and I totally messed up. I do that every day. I go into the other room for something, and I come back, and I'm like, gosh darn it, I totally forgot to pick up, grab a pen or a scissors or whatever the heck I was going to do. So, and that's about how much trouble you get into. I mean, so you messed up. So what? So then you try again. But we do get distracted. And I use this all the time, that we tend to use this Earth experience, this weekend to Earth, as a trip to Las Vegas. And we want to act like it's just a vacation. Anything that happens here stays here. It has nothing to do with my real life. I don't have to go home and be responsible to anything. We kind of want to act like this is, So then you get back home, you're like, ooh, yeah, no, I was supposed to do something, wasn't I? So that can happen. But it's okay. It's nothing to freak out about. You've got eternity.
Right. Do our careers prevent us from connecting clearly with those who are trying to reach us?
Do our careers here?
I'm not sure what. I'm sorry, I didn't read that ahead of time. Careers here. I'll read the next one, and then I'm going to ask her for some clarification. Because in another session, Karen said that one of my guides is preparing me to come and work with him when I leave here. Do we all go to work with our guides when we leave here?
That being wasn't what you would consider a guide. That would be an adventure companion. Maybe would be more a friend, a soulmate. A soulmate is the best term. Soulmate is not the same as a guide.
Well, that's interesting. All right, let's see if she's answered while I'm typing something else here. Careers. Well, she's meaning careers in the next world. Do our careers in the next world prevent us from connecting clearly with those who are trying to reach us?
I'm still not clear on the question. So is my career and my eternal career, does that interfere with people trying to connect with me while I'm here, while I'm there?
Maybe she means there. Like, okay, for example, there have been times where in a session of sorts, well, after my mom passed, my mom used to come see me a lot. And then that kind of faded a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
she's off
So
busy.
she's asking, so like if somebody's busy doing their job, does it interfere with them?
Yeah, that's my interpretation.
Okay. So they're gonna be aware that you are communicating with them. And they'll maybe reach out and hug you or whatever. But if they're busy, they're busy. And again, that whole time thing shouldn't. Yeah, I think here on Earth we have this tendency to want our loved ones to stick with us, that we want them to be our guides. And in reality, they just got off the Earth plane. They need to, they need to reconnect and do their own growth, not be bound to us. And so they're not with us at every moment. That doesn't mean they don't still love us and are still connected to us, but they're not walking with us like our guides do. And that's a good thing. This has come up many times. I remember several years ago there was a young girl. Her friend had committed suicide, and she was really having a tough time. And her mother or somebody had her come to see me. And we had to work her through the process of understanding that it was better for him to continue on his journey rather than stay with her. And she did get it, and then she was very happy that he, that it didn't mean that he didn't love her still, but he needed to do his thing, and so it's not. I'd like to say that it's not that it interferes with it. It's just that means that they're not being with us 24/7, hanging on us, which is what we ultimately want. Because even, like a ghost is somebody who hasn't crossed that second veil, and they're earthbound, clearly earthbound. But even if you cross the second veil and you still stay with your family all the time, then you're kind of almost earthbound as well.
Going back to Nick, he's the one that asked about being separated from your life purpose. He made the comment that he was very severely punished when he forgot his life purpose. He said it wasn't like forgetting a pen.
Okay. Here or there?
I'm assuming there. And he'll correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure.
Okay.
But if you want to give him a second, Kathy S. said that she likes a mandala displayed in the background that's on your cabinet, and she's very distracted by
it. That's the one that I did in your class, you goof.
She knows, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, see right there, Kathy. Right, where's my finger? There it is.
Nick said, he said going to hell here. That was the punishment.
So he didn't fulfill his life purpose here, and so now he's going through hell here. Is that what you're saying, Nick? because I'm not getting that there you're, but I don't want to,
It
you know,
felt like going to hell.
yes. Yeah. Well, did it wake you up? I hope it did. It sounds like it did.
It does sound like it did.
Yeah. And, sometimes we need to crawl around in the dirt for a while so that we realize, what we need to do. And again, our guides, are trying to help us and nudge us in the right direction, but we often don't listen. And so, you nudge and there's no response, so then you start poking.
He said it was a very confusing experience.
Okay. All right. Um, they're saying that it would behoove you to get very grounded and centered, standing up, and feel the vortex of that experience around you and hold yourself strong and centered and grounded. Bring that back to you. Put yourself back in that experience, and as you feel that swirling around you, hold on. Nice deep breaths.
Oh no.
And go into your gut. Go into your gut and feel it.
He said that they said I was unlovable and that they were going to torture him.
Who?
I know, that's what I'm like, oh no. I was just typing that.
Yeah, who are you referring to, Nick?
Because everybody's
Clearly,
lovable.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's beings, physical beings or non-physical beings, clearly these are not beings that you want to engage with. Anybody using that kind of language is not, and we've talked about this before, that there are beings, sometimes we connect with spiritual beings and we think just because they're spiritual beings that they're for our highest good. And when they're talking like that, no, they're not. When they swear, somebody will say, "Oh yeah, my guy's blah blah blah," and I'm like, I'm sorry, but they're not going to use that kind of language. That's just not
He doesn't know who they are.
physical or not physical.
But I know anybody that's of the light is also of love.
Voiceless
Voices.
spirits. Okay, yeah. So Nick, these are beings. So, oh, this is why they want you to do that. What I just told you about the standing, and so feel them around you and stay strong and connected with Source. Grounded and connected. Centered. By centered, you're holding into yourself and staying with light, and let them swirl around you, and it doesn't have to hit you. There is not a being working in God's light that is going to tell you that you are unlovable and that they're going to torture you. These are not beings.
No matter whether you kept your life purpose or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't, not everybody does, but they don't get tortured for it.
Yeah. So we have to be careful when we're reaching out. And some people get affected and get contacted by beings even without asking for it. That's really happened to me. So we have to be careful. And if Nick or anybody, if you are at risk, so to speak, then you've got to stay. And I mean, I'm not saying that you're doing this, but this is just a message to anybody. You have to stay away from alcohol. You have to stay away from any kind of drugs of any kind. You have to. I mean, obviously, if you're on something prescription, you have to abide by that. But you have to keep yourself aligned with Source. So use prayer. You have to eat as well as you can. Exercise, keep yourself balanced, because you've got to hold strong and not allow that in. But people that get If this is coming in, you've got to check to see what's going on. It could be a trauma in the past, that an experience that is caused kind of a rent in your energetic body that is allowing things in. Um, Boy, this is now, we're out of time. It's not this, we don't have time to do that now. Maybe we can make a topic out of that and work on that next time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. Cindy says praying for you and for your protection in God's white light. Yeah. Sending love to all. Yes. Yeah. We're here. Yeah. If it gets scary, if it gets, negative like that, pull away and say your prayers and align yourself with God, Source, Creator, whatever. If you're not comfortable with the term God, that's okay. But get to Source, because it's not scary. It's all love. God is love. And if you're not feeling love, then you're not connected, then it's something else. Of course, that something else, even those beings that were saying that to him, those are God's creatures, yes. So they are, of course, part of the matrix, part of the universe, part of God's creation. But they're vibrating in a place that you just don't want to be in.
Very low.
Yeah. Yeah. So align yourself with beings that are higher vibration, more loving. Ooh, all of a sudden I got cold. I got chilly tonight. All right, do we have...
There's no more questions.
Okay. All right. We really didn't talk so much about careers, did we?
A little bit. It was the tip of the iceberg. Like you said, it's a deep subject, is what you said, but also it's something that a lot of people never really thought about. I never thought about it till the first time I heard you mention it. I was like, what? So, I think that it's something that we are going to have to kind of sit on for a little bit and think about it.
Yeah. And again, if you think about it, you have an eternal existence. You want to just be sitting around eating bonbons forever?
No, just never thought about it.
You know what? I know, but I'm just saying because I know a couple people commented on Facebook like, what? I don't want to work, but really? What are you going to do? And, work, and it's not like a 9 to 5, 40-hour week, but we all need to be contributing to the welfare of the common good. And that means the universe. So if you're spreading seeds or being a nurse, helping people, whatever, and if you're working an hour a week or whatever, however that translates when you don't have weeks, is not the point. The point is that you are contributing in some way. I know, there was somebody, so this was years ago, I don't even remember who it was. Their job had to do with babies. They took care of babies, like babies that had like left here early, or maybe either they left early or they never
were born,
aborted, or whatever, miscarried. And that was kind of their job, to nurture them and work with them. And what a great job,
right? Well, when I plant seeds, I don't think of them as actually seeds that a plant grows from. But when I'm doing that now, it's some of my greatest seeds are planted in casual conversation. So it's easy. So it's just something I love.
Yeah.
So when you're doing something you love, it's not work.
Yeah. And well, what I'm learning, the more I learned about my eternal life, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I'm like, that's pretty intense. And I'm like, do I get a break? And they're like, oh yeah, you take vacations. I'm like, oh thank goodness. Thinking, golly, I would spend eternity doing that. Maybe I better stay here. So, and again, that's that's what I'm aligned to, or what I was created for, or what we have free will, but there's also God's will, and you kind of God already knows what's going to happen and what you're going to do and who you're going to meet and who you're going to help and who you're going to hurt and who this, that, and the other thing. And to the degree that you align yourself with it, you kind of get a smoother ride. It's when we start getting all crazy and things get kind of honky. So we can say to the negative energy, it's not welcome. Yes, yeah, you can just, yeah, you're not interested. And again, it's always, I think, preferable to, rather than focusing on a not, focusing on telling being A, you're not welcome, just ignore them and focus on being B, who is in the light, and just focus on saying, I want to be with you, which is a positive, quote, positive thing, rather than focusing on the negative, no, I don't want you. So I do want you. Okay?
All right, before we sign off, Shannon says, yes, she does want to sit around and eat pizza and donuts all day.
Uh-huh. After about 37 years of that, I'm going to check with you and see how full you are.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you don't get to have vacation and enjoy pizza and donuts and swimming pools and, whatever. But it's just that, you don't want to do that all day. I mean, maybe you do for a while, but eventually you'll get sick of it.
Kathy says, Shannon, you're probably running a donut shop up there. She's the donut maker. Time to make the donuts.
Yeah, time to make the donuts. Yeah, see, you gotta get up before the crack of dawn.
She's a donut taster.
Yeah. Oh, who's the donut taster?
Shannon. The donut taster.
Yeah. Well, that did a great job.
I know, right?
See? And you are contributing to society because, somebody's going to make sure they taste good.
Gotta make sure the quality's good.
Yeah. All right. Today's Sunday.
Today is Sunday.
Wednesday's next. Do we want to continue on this, or I had some ideas. Oh, crystals. I was thinking about crystals.
Ooh, yeah, let's do crystals.
Want to do crystals? What do you guys think? I keep forgetting they're a minute behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's just do that. We'll do crystals.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Good
Yay.
night, everybody. Have a good evening, a good week. Happy Monday. Good night, good night, good night. Where's my mouse? Oh. Wait. Shoot. Oh, because I have to use this one. Hello.
You're so funny.
I know. I'm such a dork. Bye.